few minutes. I've got a fucking haircut, but that's the problem.
Right, we're live.
Well,
so thanks for the haircut. Thanks for the haircut update. But, you know, this is the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, guys. You know, we don't look this beautiful just by rocking up, you know?
Exactly.
Constant looks maxing, constant soft maxing, hard maxing, nutsack maxing. It's all going on.
Well, that's what the porn stars do, isn't it? Is hard maxing if you did, say, the leg surgery to cure a height problem?
Yeah. Right. Hard maxing is basically anything that's sort of more extreme. So soft maxing is like moisturizer, and I don't know where probably Botox would fall in that as well. You know, small, non-invasive things. Whereas hitting yourself in the face with a hammer is hard maxing. So basically, guys, we've only got a short time today. So we're going to talk about looks maxing, and I'm going to go through some points explaining why looks maxing is a dead end for most men. Now, with that being said, we should emphasize at the beginning that looks are important. And we've never said looks aren't important, and that's not what we're saying now. But if you buy fully into the creed of looks maxing, and it's all over social media at the moment, then yeah, it's not really going to get you where you want to go. Would you agree with that? Before we get into the points, have you got any thoughts on it?
I think if you can make yourself look as good as possible, and there's a difference here. Look, you can be born good looking and you can look good. We know guys who are very aesthetically good looking, but don't carry themselves very well. They're not dressed amazingly. They haven't really got much inner kind of confidence in their looks. And actually, they don't come across to women as a good looking man. So you max your style, you max your grooming, you're in really good shape from the gym, and you carry yourself with a bit of an X factor. That's going to trump a technically naturally good looking guy all day long. So you can be facially not very attractive and still look very good because the rest of you's on point. So I'd say maximizing this stuff is important, because why not? You know, you're born into this playable character, 1 in 400 trillion chance of being born new, according to scientists, jokingly somewhat. But why not play the character to the rest of its ability? I mean, we all get the same fate, which is in a very short space of time. We snuff it. We're born into this conscious role. We didn't decide that. Unfortunately, it just happened suddenly at some stage. We're consciously aware of the fact that, okay, we are mortal. But why not max that character out? Why sit there berating the character, which we've all done? Yeah, fine. But why not just fuck that and just say, right, I'm going to make this character, push this character as far as it can go and make it look as good as possible. So it's kind of a no-brainer. But is it going to solve all dating problems if you look very, very good? If you maximize that area? No, it's not. But it will help a lot. It's not going to work against you. Let's put it that way. So you might as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's looks maxing and looks maxing, because as you know, because I've been sending out these. I mean, some of the stuff on X at the moment is hilarious. Some of the stuff about clavicular. I mean, these accounts, they must be taking the piss. But just, you know, some of the language that they use is just off the planet. Awkward clavicular gets denied by supermodel Alex Robinson to Burger King Max, and it spiked his cortisol levels. Where do you want to go to? A salad? I'm not letting you pick the spot. Clav went full alpha mode while Alice tried to stay locked in on salad core.
It's like Waffles is doing his titling for him, isn't
it? Yeah. It's just ridiculous. So I think if you're buying into all of that stuff seriously, then that's a bit of a blind alley. I mean, it's quite funny. You know, I find it fucking hilarious. But if you're buying into it as a sort of life philosophy, it's not a great thing. So number one, looks maxing is popular because dating apps reward looks first, right? So on the app, your face is your CV. Before personality, humor, intelligence, aura, you're filtered visually. So naturally, men optimize what the system measures first. It's a rational adaptation to the visual marketplace, which is true, but this is why we always bang the drum for cold approach. This is why we bang the drum for meeting real life, because that way you get out of the algorithm, you get out of all that nonsense, and you're judged on different things, one of which is your looks, but it doesn't have to be the main part of it.
Yeah, and also remember, women do not see you through the same lens as we see women. Looks are evolutionary biology is the cheat code to understanding all this stuff. Yeah. Men are attracted to visual fertility cues, youth, beauty, hip to waist ratio, breast size, etc. It's not the same for women the other way around. They are attracted to status, resource provisioning, how your nervous system makes her feel, your vibe, right? Your social acumen game. Looks is part of it, right? But so many other factors go into that cauldron of female attraction. It's not just, is the man hot? Now, the caveat to that is and we can say this from our own real world experience. Yeah, when you're 18 and you're dating maybe women who are, you know, women 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, they haven't really figured out the world yet. You could argue actually it is about kind of the big Chad guy. He's probably going to get paid more because it is more looks focused. But as women get older and go into the real world, that drops off quite quickly, right?
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, but it's no wonder that all this content has become so popular now, because people are, you know, brought up with dating apps. They're totally immersed in dating apps, and by definition, the main thing that people are judging you on dating apps is looks. So people think, oh right, so that's how the world works. And what we've noticed for years, because we've been doing this for years, so we've talked to black pill guys, including Wheat Waffles. We've done a lot of streams with Wheat Waffles back in the day, and they will always, when you ask them for data, they'll always go to dating app data. And they'll say, well, look at this from OkCupid. This says that women, you know, only choose the top, you know, 0.5% of men based on their jawline or whatever. And that's fine, but you're taking the data from people on a dating app, which necessarily puts them into one bucket, because on the dating app, she hasn't got a lot else to go on, really, has she? What else is she going to go on? She's not going to find your sparkling personality through Tinder. So it's a self-selecting group of people, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. What was the actual point summarized? The first one you said?
It's popular because dating apps reward looks first.
Yeah, they do. They do, but it doesn't mean it's the right protocol, right? And how much can you really understand someone's vibe, which is so important through a screen?
Well, which is
or a photo, right? It's just
Video
gives you a bit more of a way in. That's why, look, I'll muck around with grey area dating apps. I'll request a video. If they start playing silly buggers on videos, then it's just game over, because I know. But full body photos, a bit Myron Gaines-esque, isn't it? Because it's what he used to put on various apps. But face, obviously, you see the face. I want to see the corpse. Show me her corpse, I'll show you her future. I need to see the body on photos, but also just a video of her talking her vibe, because that gives away a lot as well. So if any of those are lacking, or they start playing silly buggers with that, they're automatically screened out. So, and you obviously you sometimes do video calls, this kind of thing. Yeah. So there's ways around it, but it's still not the same as actually physically being near that person and see if you are attracted or not.
Yeah, for sure. Right, number 2, looksmaxing gives men a sense of control. Gym, skincare, grooming, surgery, hair, fashion. Looksmaxing feels actionable. You can do something. For men feeling romantically powerless, that sense of agency is psychologically relieving. So
and that's a really good point. No, really good point. And actually, I think this stuff is about taking back agency. And if you feel like you're in control of some stuff, that's awesome, because it's likely your self-esteem is going to go up as you stick and you're consistent with that stuff. So you will look better, you will move better, you will get more looks from women. It is very useful, and I think that's the area you should absolutely lean into. That should be something you do. It should be a non-negotiable. Everyone does, yeah.
So are we pro looksmaxing or anti looksmaxing then? Because what I think what this is really saying is that it gives you a sense of control, but you're just focusing on that one thing. So if you just focus on the looks, then you're still going to be screwed.
Yes. So that should be absolutely done. What you said is a great way to just level up the looks, max that stat out. But in your playable character, that's one stat, right? What about the rest of the stats? You can't just do that one stat. You've got to do the rest.
Yeah. What's interesting, by the way, is that a lot of these looksmaxing accounts now have started talking about what they call aura maxing, which is basically closer to what we talk about. Because when they say that, they're talking about energy, they're talking about vibe. They're talking about presence, how you come across. So it does seem like there's been a bit of a shift in the community, if you can call it that. Because remember, a few years ago, it was very like, oh no, it's only looks. If you haven't got the looks, you might as well give up and die. It seems like they've shifted a little bit now, so they are including this aura thing, and I think the aura side of it. And they actually, apparently, some of them talk about meditation and getting into states and all this kind of stuff. So it's quite interesting that they've sort of conceded that point, isn't it?
That is, and that's a super important point, because that is essentially what we're teaching, isn't it? The in-person presentation, the presence, the riz, the internal energy you bring, super important. So if that's now being included in the process, that is positive. The problem, again, we have from a coaching perspective is most of these guys, the black pill viewers are, because they haven't really figured out actually how the world works yet, are 15 to 18, and they're broke motherfuckers. They don't have any money to spend on this stuff anyway. So from our coaching perspective, they're kind of a useless audience.
Yeah, for sure. Number 3, LOOKSMAXXING borrows from Evolutionary truth. So this is another why it's popular type point. Physical attraction matters. Health signals matter. Symmetry, vitality, sexual dimorphism all play roles. LOOKSMAXXING isn't delusional at its foundation. It's just incomplete. And I think that's the key point, isn't it?
Yeah, and again, seeing the lens, those things are so important for human beings to exchange, but way more important than pretty much the only cue for male to female attraction. So we are looking for visual cues. Men are incredibly visual. Obviously, the whole porn industry is based around that. Look at what women actually get off to. It's not visual porn mostly, right? It's things like 50 Shades of Grey. It's the narrative, it's the story, it's the anticipation, it's the build. Differences in how we process attraction. Clearly.
Well, it's interesting how there isn't an equivalent big market for romance books for men or sex books for men, isn't there? I mean,
we're visual because we see fertility cues. That's it. Is she a hot young teen? That's it, right? That's really it. Let's be fucking honest.
Okay, point number 4. The internet hyper quantifies attractiveness. Jaw angles, canthal tilt, eye spacing, facial ratios. At some point, attraction starts to be treated like a sick CAD blueprint.
Yeah, and this is the problem with your old pal Cavicula. Just I'm surprised no one pushes back on when he's sitting there just rinsing these women, because they could be like, well, you've clearly had a lot of work done. Yeah, you're a reasonably decent looking guy, but XYZ, you're a fucking awkward nerd. If they really tear into him, I'm surprised Pete's not getting pushback from some like rat shit, finger wagging ghetto girl. To be honest, I can't believe that he's sitting there accepting his thing like he's the king of. He's a 20-year-old kid. He hasn't even grown stubble yet. Doesn't know shit. To be honest, and he's missing the point. He's dissecting faces, right? It is true from in some ways from the way he's spewing it out, because men are very visual, but it doesn't work the other way around, right?
Yeah,
it doesn't work the other way around.
Well, we say here, women don't fall for geometry diagrams. They respond to holistic perception.
Exactly.
So, and this is where the aura thing comes in, because it's not just she's not sitting there even subconsciously thinking, oh, look at the angles of his face. It's not that. That's a small part of it, but it's also how you come across when you enter the room, what your energy's like, what your presence is like, and all of that, and that can make up for a lot. I mean,
when I was growing up learning this stuff, I was considered by many a good-looking guy, but I didn't really get any action, and I was like confused, because I was like, hold on, I'm a good-looking guy. I know we're attracted to how women look. They should be all over me. I exactly was thinking in the black pill headspace of, oh no, it's all about looks for women as well. And then I'd see some dude. There was always this dude in school who he wasn't particularly attractive, but had this fucking inner attitude of like, bit devil may care, kind of a bit of self-entitled arrogance, but done with a smile on his face. And he got laid like a rock star, and he was quite short, and he didn't look much. And everyone was like, mate, what the fuck has he got? Like, and we still couldn't compute it. We're like, but he should be good looking. And it just goes to show, even at that age at school, and we're talking 17 here, he fucked a teacher as well, and she got expelled, and he didn't. Right? So you're mental, but he was a great example of what that jerk boy attitude that women love so much trumps everything. Right? The aura vibe of that trumps everything.
Yes, absolutely. So it's about the overall package. It's not just this one component of it.
And it's even, you could even argue in his position, he wasn't a good looking guy, he wasn't tall, and he was wearing school uniform. That was his outfit. And he still was slaying like a motherfucker, because he had this just cheeky jerk boy, I'm the fucking shit, and I don't care if you don't believe it. And women it was like catnip to women.
Well, so he wasn't even wearing a leather jacket?
No, he's wearing a school tie, but he had like the J from the In-Betweeners where it was pulled down a big knob. Button. But it was just like, fucking hell. He got like sucked off through the fence. Like there was because it was a really posh school next to us. I went to a school called Hampton. It was called LEH, Lady Edna Hollis. Very well to do, very posh girls. They even kind of I went to a private school, it was good, but they were step up. And I remember a few times we just go up to the fence and sneakily just get blown through the fence. He was in that hot a demand. And of course, when you fuck one hot girl, and look, it's a bit like the Pete Davidson effect at school. He fucked this smoke show, who was known as the hottest girl in the year. So then that unlocked all the other women in the year for him. So they all wanted to just blow him through the fence. It was just absolutely unbelievable. And he didn't look like much. Like, so Artiste probably formed his entire website off this bloke. He was like watching him through a shed. And he wrote the entire website, the aloof jerk boy attitude. Mental.
Amazing.
You should get him on stream. I should get back in touch with him.
You'll get guys in the comments. Oh, can you get his? Is he on social media? So,
Yeah.
Not everybody ruins their life doing this nonsense. Number 5, it creates. So looksmaxing creates neurotic self-objectification. Men begin analysing themselves like flawed products. Is my skull recessed? Is my eye area predatory enough? Instead of building presence, they spiral into cosmetic anxiety. Confidence erodes while mirrors get more scrutiny. So yeah, I mean, that's a little bit of a health check, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, it's not particularly healthy to be obsessing about this stuff. It can actually put you into a pretty dark hole. And the other thing is, like it says here, I mean, it's not really, even if you did max out all of that stuff, that's still not all of the game,
we had a client recently who's a bit older, but he kind of went down the rabbit hole of getting some under eye surgery done, and it looks fine, but it definitely didn't, it hasn't really changed how he looked from before. And he could have spent all that time investing the run up to the operation, anxiety, the actual post-operation recovery of like 6 weeks, going out and just relentlessly getting back into it, practicing his ability to flirt with the world and develop this devil-may-care attitude. And I guarantee you that would have got him laid way more than that like minor tweak on his face. Well,
it's an ironic thing, isn't it? Because we were saying yesterday how guys are so afraid to approach, and like there are guys in the military who would rather go out into war rather than approach an attractive girl. So guys would rather get their legs broken and reset and smash themselves in the face with a hammer than actually approach a girl. That's what we come to, Well,
and also we've got a current client who will literally do any skill set in the world, probably you tell him to do, rather than actually go and just speak to women, right? Probably do anything you could name as a skill set, as avoidance. And it just comes down to the fact men do not want to talk to women because it makes them feel awkward, but you have to go through that awkward phase. If you think about the fact that anything in life really is attainable via just suffering through some uncomfortable feeling, that's it. It's like, come on, are you really not getting the dream life you want because of a few awkward feelings? But for a lot of men, those awkward feelings, dictate their entire lives.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite funny because obviously Clavicular, bless him, is quite he's quite funny, but I mean his personality is a bit odd from what I've seen. And there was that classic
it's very American Psycho, isn't it? Christian Bale.
Yeah. And there was a classic clip when he was in the kitchen with, I think it was the night when they had the tapes around and all of that stuff, and they went to the club, and he's talking to these 2 girls, and he goes up to them, he's like, hey, he's like he asks them if they're doing drugs. He's like, hey, are you guys rolling, or some cheesy thing like that? And the girl goes, no. She goes, no, I don't really do that sort of stuff. What about you? He goes, I do meth. And she goes, whoa, okay. It's straight out there. And it's like, it's quite funny to watch it as a viewer, but if you actually said that, in that situation, she's a bit weirded out. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit uncalibrated.
It is. But at the same time, if he's playing this kind of character of the social freedom, Christian Bale, nothing registers. He probably will get laid if he leans hard enough into that and doesn't break character ever.
True. Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay. You could
depends. It's nuances there, isn't it? But I'd say he seems to, unless it's a character he's putting on, he seems to be lack a bit of social calibration there. Also a bit serious. Like women like a bit of playful, kind of cheeky, Jack the Lad, smirk, devil may care vibe, Jack Nicholson kind of attitude, right? You might as well insert that, especially on a night out. Like women are there to have a good time. They want to laugh, they want to have fun, they want to dance, they want to get drunk.
Okay, so number 6, looksmaxing confuses sexual market entry with sexual success. Improving looks might get you matches or initial interest, but attraction doesn't end at she swiped. Sustained desire requires personality, dominance, humor, emotional command. Looks open doors, they don't carry conversations. And they don't carry relationships either, and they don't carry dating dynamics, right? And I think that is a big problem, isn't it? Because if you spent 5 years on all of this stuff, and you're taking your meth, and you've had your legs broken and recast, and you've done all this stuff, but you still can't hold court when there's a real life woman in front of you, you're going to be screwed. And even if she does sleep with you, then what? Like, if you want to carry that on, you're going to have to understand the dynamics, and you're going to have to be able to carry it. Otherwise, she's either going to just dump you, or she's going to walk all over you.
Yeah, the industry does not really cater for the fact, well, daygame.com, the problem I had with the original guys I learned from is it didn't cater for the fact really past the phone number. It was like, oh, get the phone number. That's that's like, it's like, but that's the process just beginning. And now the industry doesn't really cater for, okay, you go and have sex with the girl, great. But presumably most men, if they're sensible, think, right, I've done quite a lot of work to probably get that back. I want to keep her around, right?
Yeah.
But the industry doesn't cater for that. You have to actually be normal around women and learn to just hold frame, not react, focusing entirely on looks. You're not doing that, are you?
Yeah.
Right? You're not doing that.
No, exactly. Which is why we're saying this is a holistic thing. We've got Jim Smith here, our favourite married with 2 kids commentator. Sorry for the spamming the chat last time. I'll stick to one question today, if that's okay. Good stuff, man.
Good for you.
Okay, number 7. So looksmaxing neglects behavioural magnetism. Men hyper-focus on aesthetics while ignoring voice tone, eye contact, social fluidity, risk tolerance, leadership presence. These traits often outweigh looks in real world attraction.
Yeah, as we talked about, the vibe, the aura.
Yes.
Cultivating this devil-may-care fun attitude is so important. You know, you want to be the fun guy.
Just playing devil's advocate with that, though.
Yeah.
What you said before about clavicular, because you could, and I think this is what some of those guys are going for, this very low effect sort of almost mumbling, because you're so hot, you know, like you're so physically hot, attractive. You've got the hoodie up, you've got your touzled hair coming down, and you just don't give a fuck. Right. And there are probably going to be some girls who are going to go for that, aren't there? But I suppose the counter argument is most people aren't really like that. You know,
look, he's obviously developed a bit of a following, so he probably, the way the world works, again, women are very attracted to status.
Clavicular himself, you can't really. No,
I wouldn't copy his attitude because he's got a big account. People know who he is because he's controversial. You're going to get a lot of women, especially younger women, who will want to hook up with him just because he's got a level of status, which ironically, again, is a way more powerful female metric of attraction than looks. Yeah. So yes, he can play this kind of aloof dude, doesn't really give a fuck because he's got a following. Yeah. So if guys are trying to copy that without a following, you're going to get blown out by the fun guy in the club charging around having a good time all day long.
Yeah, you know? Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, Clavicular currently is one of the biggest names on the internet. I mean, he's just blown up, and there's all these clips and everything. And so, yeah, I mean, he's with quite an attractive girl on stream. I saw yesterday, and you know, but it's no surprise, is it? He's a celebrity. He's a mini celebrity. He lives in Miami. Probably a lot of people in Miami know who he is. You know, I mean, go figure, right? But like you said, it's not really about his looks. It's about his status, and that's an important point actually for people watching this. So start a YouTube channel and start talking about meth.
Well, we've always joked that the ultimate aphrodisiac for women is fame. So do people want to be famous? You see lots of fucking interviews of people talking about the downsides of fame. I don't think it's for everyone, but it is a way to shortcut the system because you will get women. I had a friend of mine who was on Australian Big Brother. Now he got voted out the first round, but he had I remember showing me his messages and he had 15 girls who were like, I've got a friend, which hotel are you staying at? Let's have a threesome. Straight off the back of just being kicked out of Big Brother on the first show. And this was before internet really blew up. This was 15 years ago. But it just goes to show the power of fame. So, yeah, you can get somewhat notorious in something. It will translate into warmth in your bedroom.
Yes. So 8, offline looks are only one signal. In real environments, women perceive movement, energy, confidence, social proof, status cues, charisma. A 7 with presence will often outperform a 9 with social stiffness.
We've seen it before so many times. We've been out with basically male models and they're just stiff as old boards. They don't have much self-belief and they will get women they don't care. They're just like, no, this guy doesn't really buy his own shit. Right, that guy's fun. He's making me feel something. I'm attracted to him. Right, so it's very fluid in the moment. It's less about looks in the moment.
Yeah,
being good looking will get you a foot in the door. So if I'm looking good in a suit, I'm well groomed, I've hit the gym, I've got a good kind of inner vibe. That will buy me. That will get me some opens, and it will give me a foot in the door. But if I'm awkward, overthinking it, stiff, women will just blow me out like any other bloke.
Yeah. Well, we've met plenty of guys who are conventionally good looking who just are not successful in dating, right?
And we met guys who are not conventionally good looking who have aura max, should we put it that way, like the kids would say, and they slay.
So yeah, absolutely. So Veiny member saying he got arrested the other day on fraud and drug charges. Well, apparently they've all been dropped. So Chad can do what he wants. And people are now putting that down to because what some of these guys say is it's not only with women. It's like if you're physically good looking, the world gives you a free pass. So people are now saying that Clavicular ascended so much that he could get out of criminal charges. It doesn't matter because I mean, I'm not quite sure how that works. Do you really think law enforcement is sitting there going, "Yeah, this guy's pretty hot"?
No, not at all. I mean, look at people who are literally the top of their industries: Weinstein, R. Kelly, now rotting behind the bars. It's not. That's not. No, it doesn't translate at all. It's not.
No, but if they'd have been hotter, would they have?
Well, I mean, yeah, Weinstein was a monster. I mean, R. Kelly, objectively speaking, wasn't a bad-looking dude, to be honest. I mean, but whatever.
I'll tell you the thing that blows that argument out of the water, though, which is another one that the black pill people always use, is who was that hot criminal guy? Do you remember that?
Yeah, Jeremy Meeks.
Yeah, Jeremy Meeks. So if looks keeps you out of jail, how come he went to jail?
He did, though, to be fair, build an entire career off being the hot felon, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
But if you think about it, it's not just how he looks, it's the context. He's a guy that hurts people. He's got the teardrop tattoos behind bars. He's presenting a menace to society, living on the outskirts, right? That's hot for women. If he'd been a really clean cut like accountant, yeah, he might have got some looks as the hot accountant, but I guarantee it's way hotter as the felon, right? To hurt people. So again, narrative so important to women.
Saying that, he did end up, I don't know if he's still with her, but he ended up with Sir Philip Green's daughter.
Yeah, but they now break. They've got kids together. I read up about him recently because he popped up. But he's basically the boss was saying ChatGPT he didn't really capitalize on all of his fame. He now lives a kind of discreet life. He blew up for a bit, but he didn't turn it into a mega brand. So he did well, but he didn't do that well.
He maybe could have pushed it further in some way.
100% could have pushed it further.
But I mean, he's a billionaire, isn't he? So on the one
hand, is, but he hasn't inherited. I guess if they got a kid in common, the kid will.
Yeah, so, but I mean, how to be delicate about this? She's not.
She's a monster. So he's done the reverse. He's done the reverse gold digger, hasn't he?
So that tells its own story, I suppose. So we've done that one. Right, number 9, the aura concept emerges for a reason. Even LooksMax forums eventually pivot to aura maxing because they realize attraction isn't just visual. Aura equals vibe plus presence plus emotional energy. It's the felt sense of a man, just not the seen one. So I think this is where there is some common ground between us and some of these guys, because if they're now saying, well, actually aura, as they want to call it, is important, then I think we can agree. In fact, I think we kind of agree with most of it, really. It's just that
it's just not focusing entirely on looks is the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's when were we doing streams of Wheat Waffles? Was that about 4 years ago?
Well, we did it. We were doing them in Russia, which is actually about 5 years ago.
I mean, it just goes to show because that whole narrative then that was when the black pill stuff was really big, and it
seems to be big again now. But yeah,
no, but it was incredible back then that people hadn't factored in the fact that it's more than just looks. Yeah. Because it's just real. Everyone's been in that real world experience of seeing a good looking guy not getting laid, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's presumably been, even if they're 15, 16 years old men, boys, whatever, in that situation where that guy gets a lot of action and he's not that attractive and they're like, what the fuck's going on, right? So how the whole narrative has taken this long to catch up to the fact that you need more than looks is just beyond it. It's just comical. Because this is stuff we've known the entire time, right?
Yeah, it is, but it's kind of good that they've got there in the end. So the 10th one, final one, attraction is holistic, not cosmetic. Closing remarks. Looks matter, but they're one pillar among several: physical presentation, behavioral confidence, emotional detachment, social positioning, purpose and lifestyle, sexual energy. Men who fixate solely on aesthetics become polished but hollow. Men who develop aura become compelling even with imperfect looks.
I would agree with that. I think it's about the all-round package. So what are the key things, what the key components you've listed out there? Let's just go through them as the key elements to work on.
Well, I mean, in terms of things to work on.
Behavior, you said looks, behavioral, detached, vibe. What else?
Well, we're not saying don't improve your looks. We're saying looks are entry-level optimization. So yeah, improve your looks, but don't obsess about it. Aura is advanced attraction. One gets attention, the looks, the other holds it. And I think that's a good way of encapsulating, isn't it?
Well, we could do that. How to aura. Our next stream title tomorrow could be how to aura max.
I've started using some of the language in some of the shorts that I'm putting out today because it's so hilarious. So I put it into Grok, and I got Grok to come up with like variations on some of my titles to make it sound like
so insane, isn't it? This world we live in.
Dairy gooning.
Dairy gooning. I mean, what even is that?
It's sort of like because they will say, well, you shouldn't eat dairy because it bloats you and it's not good for your physique. So, but people do like dairy, like they like a bit of ice cream, they like a bit of cheese. And gooning is kind of almost going to a trance-like state because you're eating something that you really like. So it's like, and then they talk about cortisol all the time as well. In a lot of those clips, it's like, oh, clavicula's cortisol levels rose because I don't know. I mean, there's truth in this, isn't there? Apparently, high cortisol, is not good for building muscle, and also does it interfere with breaking down fat as well?
And also just general sleep. You know, prone to higher chance of anxiety, depression, heart attacks. Cortisol's terrible. Yeah.
But they're looking at it all from the perspective of how it makes you look. So I guess if you're not sleeping well, you look more tired. It makes
you can have those big panda eyes. What do they call the panda eyes? What do they call these? Any ideas?
I don't know. Someone could tell us in the comments if they.
We've got time for 2 questions. Which 2 did we pick?
Should we do Jim Smith, seeing as he's
okay?
Seeing as he's been polite and sorry, Jim Smith, we probably were being rude, but you know, that's how it is. Do you agree that height is the #1 factor by far? Not just taller than her, you have to be taller than your rivals too. I'm 6'4" and joke with women that they only like me for my height. What about your poor wife, Jim Smith? What about your poor wife and children while you're out flirting with these hoes? flaunting your tallness around town.
They haven't actually. Interesting. So these people, do they talk much about height in this new era black pill stuff, or not really?
Well, they do because they do, yeah. Because clavicular was, I told you, clavicular demonstrated how you height max in your home. So before you bring the girl back, you put like books around the floor, and then you have stations where, like behind the sofa and stuff, you stand on the book. So you look when you take your shoes off, so you look a bit taller. And then you have another one near the bedroom doors, and you just go and stand on them so that she doesn't. So yeah, and I think they talk about the leg maxing thing as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, height obviously, if taller is better to a degree, but you've got to own it. Again, I know guys who are not very tall who they've just got this inner fire of like, I'm the fucking shit, and women reflect it back to them. Really, the self-perception piece is so important. And I know guys who don't own it, and they don't get anything. So.
Yeah. Well, we've taught some very. I mean, there was a. Do you remember that? Actually, we won't go into the personal specifics, but I mean, we've taught some guys who were very.
Oh yeah, I do. I know exactly who you mean.
Yeah, floating around like a ghost. You know.
Yeah, he didn't own it. A German guy. Again, you know, these guys don't know who people are, so it's fine. But he was quite a skinny. We always told him to get in the gym and work out. Very ectomorphic, incredibly skinny, a bit, you know, just honestly speaking, and. He had come from a position of massive social anxiety, so he didn't own his height, and women just found him a bit awkward. So, you know, neglected. Whereas if he'd rolled around owning it, he was about 6'5". He would have probably got laid like a rock star. Now, there were 2 guys at uni exactly like this. 2 guys I knew. They're both 6'6". One of them absolutely owned it. Very big alpha dude, alpha energy. I'm the fucking shit. I play rugby. Got laid like an absolute rock star because all women wanted to bang him to see how big his dick was. The other guy. Little bit awkward, similar height, also built, but just a bit awkward in his own skin. Couldn't pull a muscle. So again, it comes down to this piece. How do you feel about yourself, right? And the point of looks maxing is look good so you look in the mirror and you feel fucking good about yourself, because that self-perception piece is great, and then work on the other areas. You know? Yeah, for sure. And where do you get your suits from? Well, we were getting ours from the same place at the moment, but I don't know. I mean, I haven't had anything made for a while. But I get mine in Thailand now. A guy in Thailand I can put in touch with. He's very, very good. Okay. But there's also a guy in London. There's also a guy in Colombia actually. So one of our clients has got a good lead in Colombia. But I mean, I like to get stuff made. So I've got a guy in London, but it's obviously it's quite expensive because it's London. You know, it's still. I mean, what do you pay for a suit now? $750 all in. Well, he would charge more than that. Oh, is he charging more now? More than $1,000? Is it more than £1,000 now?
Probably that or more, yeah.
Oh right, because back in the day it was 650 for
I don't know. I don't know what he would charge me because I've been a long-term customer, but I didn't get anything done last year, so you know, I'm not sure.
It is. It's hard to beat a good suit, isn't it? Although I can't wear a suit in Rio Carnival, it's ridiculous.
James Tusk's about best looks back. So what about me? Oh well, I'll just I don't know.
You need to get a double jawless mastectomy.
I'm going to be dead soon, so it doesn't really matter. I'm death maxing. You know, no one can beat death maxing because once you're gone, you're gone.
You can't beat that, can you?
Exactly.
Yes. So it's a short stream today, lads. We have
thanks, man. Cheers.
We have things to do, people to do, and places to do, and we will be back tomorrow for an aura maxing stream.
Indeed, we will. See you later, guys.